Hello, it's Film Frenzy, and today I'll be reviewing the newest MCU film, Black Panther, which debuted last night in theaters. So let's get started with my first category, direction and visuals. So, direction and visuals is Black Panther's strong point, and I'll be giving it a perfect 5 out of 5. Ryan Coogler, I already knew he was a great, just director, visually speaking. He did wonders in Creed, and again, he did a great job here. The cinematography was beautiful. It was kind of a little bit reminiscent of The Lion King, some of the scenes, and the sunsets were great. The mountains and the fight scenes were all really solid. And overall, there's not a ton to say here. The visuals were just very intriguing and striking, and it was a very unique visual flair that Ryan Coogler brought to the MCU with Black Panther. Next up, I'll be discussing acting and character development. So acting and character development's a tough one to do for Black Panther because there's some great aspects and some not so great aspects. But overall, I'll be giving it a thumbs up in this category with a 3 out of 5. So, first off, they assembled such a great cast. I mean, you had Sterling K. Brown, Daniel Kaluuya, Forrest Whitaker, Andy Serkis, Martin Freeman, Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, and so many more. It was really impressive, the cast, and they were great actors. Overall, they did a really good job. But, for example, the one thing, I felt like the main romance between Lupita Nyong'o and Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, they just didn't really have chemistry. It didn't fit at all. I know this movie wasn't really about the romance. Maybe it's just the lines they got, but I felt like there was just, no connection. I was just like, okay, whatever. When they kissed, I was just like, it's there's not really much connection there, and it makes the Jay and Thor romance in the Thor movies look really good. So that's bad. And then I also thought the thing is, I feel like there's two types of villains. There's the villain Ego, the Living Planet, where you're supposed to hate him. He's pure evil, but he's a great villain because he's a twist, and he's just so power hungry. But then there's the other type of villain, like Magneto or Loki, where you're supposed to feel sympathy for him, and he has very good parts to him too. He's borderline anti-hero villain. But that's what Eric Killmonger is supposed to be. So Ulysses Claw is supposed to be the ego type villain, where he's just pure evil, and he's really fun to watch. They do a good job with him. But here's the thing. I feel like they wasted Michael B. Jordan on Eric Killmonger because you're supposed to have the sympathy for him. And yes, I'll agree, he had a terrible situation growing up, and he kind of got screwed from birth. But that still doesn't testify just being such a terrible person. Here's the thing, he has no save the cat moment. By save the cat, I mean doing something admirable and good. Magneto does some good stuff. Loki helps out Thor sometimes. Eric Killmonger is pure evil. I couldn't even relate to him whatsoever, or even I didn't feel any sympathy for him. He's a monster. He kills so many people. He has no good in him, and I feel like they messed up with the villain so bad, and he's a huge part of this movie. And then Black Panther, I thought he went through a great character arc in Captain America Civil War. I felt even though he changed as a character in this movie, his development was kind of almost a little backwards. Because what happens is there's a spoiler right here, so you're gonna see the spoiler card up. I'll put it down when I stop spoiling. But so when Eric Killmonger dies, so he really wanted Black Panther I mean Wakanda to intervene with other nations and help out the oppressed and stuff, and help out other black people across the world. And then Black Panther pretty much just listens to him, and that's what he does in the end of the movie. And it's all this Black Panther pretty much just listens to the villain. It's that's not really how it's supposed to go. I found Black Panther to kind of be a little bit of a weak character in this movie, to be honest. He was just kind of going along with the story, while the Russo brothers did a great job with Black Panther in such a small role in Civil War. So I feel the Russo brothers know how to do Black Panther well, because Black Panther had this great arc about vengeance in Civil War, and it was really beautiful about anti-violence and stuff. And this just, I don't know, it just didn't really fit. Overall, there were some great characters. I'm glad they had some great female African American roles, or African roles, I guess. For Lupita Nyong'o, I thought overall her character was very good, and I forget her name, but the main person of the Warriors, that woman, she was really very good. I was not a fan of his little sister. I found her to be very obnoxious and just annoying, so I did not like her. But other than that, overall, it was pretty good at character development and acting. For my final category, I have plot, pacing, script, and theme, the various story elements. So, I have a rather surprising score for story elements for Black Panther, but before I get to that, I'm just going to talk a little bit about each one. So, the plot is actually pretty decent. Like, it's kind of like a fairly Marvel, like, regular plot. Like, the first half of the movie, I was just like, this is okay, you know? This isn't, like a 98% worthy like I thought it was going to be, but it's like, maybe like a 3.5 out of 5, like average, like just like plot, And I was hoping it would kick in the second half, and like it definitely had some different aspects. Like spoiler, like Black Panther, like you thought he was gonna die. Okay, unspoilers, but it was just like a little bit kind of predictable, and the plot was just like okay. Like it's interesting because it's a little bit of like royalty with a political thriller, but I prefer like a political thriller that's like government agencies, like Winter Soldier, because that's like more relatable. Because like there's no royalty in America. But then like the pacing, I thought it was okay. Like it was a little slow at first, but then it got like better. I don't really have too many problems with here. I just thought maybe it was a little bit too like just like the regular story beats and stuff. But then the script, I felt like he's not the best at jokes. Like this movie, like lots of jokes were not funny. I would say about 30% of the jokes were good. So that's really bad that happened. I think maybe the like Creed, like there was only a couple jokes, like the joke about the iCloud, that was funny. But so that worked. But this movie had too many jokes and they weren't very good jokes. So that's really not good. And then like other parts of the script, like it was okay. Like there were some lines that were a little annoying in there, but like it wasn't terrible. There was just one cringy moment, and you'll know when it happens that his little sister, I think her name is Shuri, she says a really cringy line. But anyway, the final thing is theme, which is the main thing I'm talking about. So for this category, I'll be giving it a 2 out of 5. I know that sounds surprising, right? And here's why. It all comes down to the theme. Usually a theme is a bonus for a movie, right? But here's the thing. Without the theme, I'll probably give Black Panther maybe overall like a 3.5 out of 5 because it's not anything super impressive in my opinion, but it's definitely decent. But the theme actually brings it down to my overall score, a 2 out of 5. Yes, I know. I don't like Black Panther. I gave it a thumbs down. That's really crazy because everybody loves it, but here's why. So I'm all for movies about like civil rights and stuff like that and inclusion. I mean, take Marshall, which also stars Chadwick Boseman. That movie's amazing. That's about like fighting for like what you believe in and at whatever cost, and like just equality. Mudbound, which is a movie about like a black and white family that are neighbors in like the 40s, and about like togetherness of the like just all of mankind. It's really beautiful. Those are great movies, but this is not one of them. In my opinion, this is a movie that left me more like it just more dividing than like together. Like it's called Black Panther, and it kind of felt almost like a little bit of the Black Panther ideology, which is not good. Like, it was more like Malcolm X-y than Martin Luther King Jr., sadly. Because it just contradicted itself. Like, there's a lot of parts about, like, just not having violence to solve stuff, but there's so much violence. Like, it literally has that third act Marvel thing, where it's a huge battle. I call it the Phantom Menace thing, where it's, like, air battle, there's the land battle, and then there's, like, the battle between, like, the main good guy and the main villain. It became way violent, and like even like the multiple tribes of one nation, Wakanda, were fighting each other. It was like, why is this happening? Like, this is not what the movie should be about. And also they tried to make this villain like sympathetic, like I said earlier with the characters, but this villain, he stands for all the wrong things. He wants to equip all these people that are being oppressed and just like bring them into power. But it's not just all people being oppressed. It's just like black people across the world. Like I felt like this movie, instead of being about the togetherness of mankind, was more about the togetherness of like just black people everywhere, which like is okay. But then they didn't even like. But then the black people were like just like fighting each other like with the different tribes, and I was like, why is this getting so violent? Like this could have been, I think, a really beautiful movie that spoke about just like, just humanity as a whole being together, like Mudbound per se, but instead it just became really just, I felt like it was so hateful, some of the scenes. Like there was these beautiful moments, and then they just ruined them with these really just crude comments. I felt like it was a little hateful. Like, they kind of made like Everett Ross, Martin Freeman's character, the butt of all these jokes, and it was a lot of like, I feel like, anti-white sentiment. I'm not just saying that because I'm white. I don't like any movie that shows any sentiment like that's negative to like any race. Like, for example, Breakfast at Tiffany's, like they were really racist to this Asian guy. It's a terrible stereotype. They didn't stereotype whites here, which is good. but they just kind of made fun of him the entire time, and it was like, this is how you represent white people in your movie. It's kind of a little cruel in my opinion. Like, I get that they're trying to be all like, like about like, black power, and that's okay, but like, I don't think you should be sacrificing like other races while you're doing that, because it was really just about like black people being oppressed. And I felt like it wasn't about like everybody. Like, it's not a relatable theme for everybody. And I felt like it was just very just a negative movie, and it left me just more just like unhappy than like happy. Like, I felt like this is like the type of like things that's like a step back for civil rights instead of a step forward, like a movie like, I don't know, 42 or Marshall, where there's actually about civil rights and about like doing the right thing. These people, I feel like they didn't really do the right thing. And then in terms of theme, I thought it was smart to like talk about a little bit of politics with like isolationism versus globalization in the modern era. That's pretty smart for a superhero movie. But I was hoping you'd kind of establish like, maybe like you find like this halfway point between the two, because pure isolationism is bad because that's like letting the Holocaust happen, but like pure like just globalization can be bad too, because it's like almost like communism, like all one nation, like you're gonna ruin your own country. So I thought they were gonna like establish like a medium, like we should help out other countries but like not ruin our own country. But instead he just goes all the way helping out and ending countries at the end, and that's not really what I wanted to happen. So I was really disappointed in this movie. I'm sorry that this is such a negative review. I hope that maybe you enjoy it, but I just felt like it could have been a really positive movie about like just like, justice, but instead it really wasn't. So thank you for watching this film frenzy review of Black Panther. Stay tuned for more reviews and ranking videos coming to my channel. See you guys later. Bye.